Atoms consist of a nucleus and a cloud of electrons that move around the nucleus. The nucleus is itself a cluster of two kinds of particles, protons and neutrons. In fact, the nucleus is very tiny compared with the rest of the atom. If the atom were the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be the size of a marble. Now, this is an incredibly important table for you to memorize. All the particles in an atom are very light, so their mass is measured in atomic mass units rather than grams. Protons and electrons also have an electric charge. Since electrons are so light, their mass is usually taken as zero. Here is a typical sodium atom. It has 11 protons, 11 electrons, and 12 neutrons. The diagram shows how they are arranged. The protons and neutrons cluster together in the center, forming the nucleus. This is the heaviest part of the atom. The electrons circle very fast around the nucleus at different energy levels from it. These energy levels are given a name. They're called shells. Since they make up the atom, protons, neutrons, and electrons are often called subatomic particles. A sodium atom has 11 protons. This can be used to identify it since only a sodium atom has 11 protons. Every other atom has a different number. You can identify an atom by the number of protons it has. The number of protons in the nucleus of an atom is called its proton number. It's also known as the atomic number. So here you can see the proton number of sodium is 11. Now the sodium atom also has 11 electrons, so it has an equal number of protons and electrons. The same is true for every sort of atom. Every atom has an equal number of protons and electrons, so atoms have no overall charge. The positive and negative charges cancel each other out. Now an atom of an element can also be described using the shorthand way. You put the symbol on the right hand side, remembering that you need to have a capital letter for the first letter and all other letters must be in lowercase. You can then put the nucleon number at the top on the left hand side of the symbol. The nucleon number is the number of neutrons added to the number of protons in that particular atom. And put the proton number on the bottom left hand side. Now the nucleon number for a typical sodium atom is 23 because it has 11 protons and 12 neutrons. So 11 plus 12 is equal to 23. So sodium can be described in this shorthand way. Now you must remember that this is applicable for a particular sodium atom. Other sodium atoms may have a different number of neutrons, but they will always have 11 protons. So remember, when describing any element in this shorthand way, that the top number, the nucleon number, is equal to the number of neutrons added to the number of protons. For atoms from the same element, the proton number will always be the same. So for sodium, there'll always be 11 protons, and so the proton number will be 11, but the nucleon number may be slightly different between atoms. Now in the periodic table, the elements are arranged from left to right, top to bottom, in order of increasing proton number. The table shows the first 20 elements. So you'll notice that the numbers of protons and electrons increase by one at a time and are always equal to each other. But the number of neutrons can skip. And in fact, when you get to argon, the number of neutrons actually start to decrease from argon to potassium. When writing the shorthand way for a particular atom, it's so important that you do not take a shortcut and go back to a given printed copy of the periodic table to read off the number of neutrons, because the number of neutrons can differ even for atoms of the same element. So always try and work out the number of neutrons by taking away the proton number from the nucleon number.